We got another one, guys. We got another one. This guy wants to argue with me about Lifebringer Galactus being more powerful than Galactus when he was eating magic, right? And his reasoning for this is partially because of the fact that Galactus was able to fight order and chaos, right? Here's the problem. When you are debating or arguing with certain people on the internet, you do have to understand that there are a lot of people who just lack reading comprehension skills, right? They're not actually reading something and understanding what they're reading. They're just looking at pictures. So when they see somebody punch somebody, right, they automatically think, oh my God, he was able to hurt him, so this character must be more powerful, right? No, that's not how that works. You see, in the Ultimates, right, and we're not talking about the Ultimates, we're talking about the Ultimates as the team. Lifebringer Galactus was able to fight order and chaos. Now, how was he able to do that? Like, how did that even happen? Well, they were in conceptual space. You see, in conceptual space, the amount of power you have doesn't matter, right? What matters is the meanings, words, and the place, right? And when I say place, I mean like where you fit in the hierarchy, if that makes sense. The problem is that there was no hierarchy. Because the Marvel Universe was still basically setting, and because there was no law, because basically nothing had been put in place, everybody was just kind of like, you know, wherever they wanted to be, if that makes sense. Like, the Living Tribunal, yeah, he was law, but law had not been created yet. So he really couldn't pass judgment on a lot of things, which he says himself, because basically after Galactus ends up fighting Order and Chaos, they go snitch and tell, you know, the Living Tribunal, and they try to get him to force Galactus to go back to his original position as a, you know, a devourer of worlds. And he's like, well, as of right now, I see no reason why he would have to do that. Like, the law is still being created. He's doing nothing wrong at this moment, so I'm not going to pass judgment. Order and Chaos didn't like that. So what did they do? They destroyed him, right? And after destroying the Living Tribunal, again, he wasn't technically a Living Tribunal just yet because the law was still being formed, so this is why they were able to do that. They then tried to impose their will on Galactus. The problem was they weren't able to, which Order basically says that. You see, Order basically understands why they can't do what they want to do, or why things are the way they are. Because there's no balance, because there's no structure, no law, they can't impose their will on Galactus, nor can they make him do whatever whatever they want, or even take him out, right? He has no more will over them than they do over him, which they say. And this is why when they fought in conceptual space, Galactus was able to fight them. Because again, in conceptual space, battle is what? It is metaphor. So it's nothing's real, right? Nothing is real. You having a fight in conceptual space and winning doesn't mean anything. And why do I say that? Well, Galactus can travel to conceptual space just like anybody else in Marvel can travel to conceptual space. You just need a way to protect yourself while you're there, right? But when you're not in conceptual space, you have characters like Owen Reese's Molecule Man, who Galactus can't fight, in which he says himself, like, I have to be careful, man. This is the Molecule Man. Like, if I don't play my cards right, bro could take me out, because again, they're not in conceptual space. If he wants to, he could just destroy him, and there would be nothing that he could do about it, because he has no protection from him. Now, when we look at what happened with Order and Chaos, how did Order and Chaos make it to a point where they could have that power, they could have that influence? Well, they formed. They took the in-betweener, and they stitched themselves together, and they became the new law of the 616. And because they did that, they were able to kill off the Celestials and basically establish their own law. Now, there's another part in Bro's comment section where he brings up the fact that Galactus and, you know, the Eternity Watch were able to fight, you know, the first Celestials that the first Firmament had created, right? But again, it was in conceptual space. It's just that simple. Like, even Galactus says, like, none of it's real. It's conceptual, it's concepts, it's metaphor. It's just that's how they fight. That doesn't mean you have more power than the other. And the reason why I say that is because when Black Panther fought the White Tiger God in its own space and he beat it, right? He then took its power and used it as a guide and a shield to go to conceptual space, right? Where again, combat is metaphor, but words have meaning. So what did that do for Black Panther? Well, Black Panther is the king, and because he's the king in conceptual space, it doesn't matter if you're law, order, chaos, etc., he is over you. And since he's over you, he has power over you. And that's how he was able to basically separate law and destroy it, right? Because law, rules, and etc., order can be fragile. It can be broken, right? Sometimes it's not how it should be. Because he's the king, he can overthrow any law or any order. So again, it has nothing to do with power. It's the word, the meaning behind it that matters. And that's why he was able to beat Logos. Now, do I take that and I say, well, yeah, Black Panther is more powerful than Galactus. He's more powerful than the Living Tribe. No, I don't do that. Now, you can use it for a good feat for a regular person, because even Galactus was astonished by seeing what he saw. But in reality, it's, okay, you did this in conceptual space. That's great. It's wonderful. It's awesome. But again, you did it in conceptual space. If you had fought order and chaos in a regular realm where law and order is actually established, you would have lost without having some kind of contingency plan or some kind of protection. It's just that simple. But, you know, again, some people don't know how to actually read comics and comprehend what they're reading. You can't use this for a feat for Galactus because, again, the law of Marvel had not been established, and the battles in which they had them were in what? Conceptual space. It's just that simple. Because law and order had not been established, nobody's place had been set. So no one really had more power over the other. They could fight, sure, but nobody could actually beat, kill, or destroy each other. Which is why when Logos became Logos, that all changed. It's just that simple. Besides that, you guys have a great day. I am so sorry to bore you with this, but I do hope you guys learned something. And please go read The Ultimates. It's a great read. It's a great comic. But do not be like people like this, bro. Don't be yapping and not understand what you're talking about. Lightbringer Galactus is a very powerful form for him. It is, but it's not the most powerful. Nor was he at his most powerful. Again, for him to stop the corruption that Logos put in him, he needed his herald to sacrifice himself to do it for, because it wasn't something he could just do, right? Because once Logos became law, it didn't matter what power you had, it didn't matter who you were. He was over you, so he could do whatever he wanted, right? And it would have been the same thing if order and chaos had been established. There would have been nothing he could do. There would have been nothing he could have said to them. Again, this is why they were so confused when he was able to punch and harm them, because they didn't understand what conceptual space was, and they didn't understand their place, which again, they said. So again, you guys have a great day. I will catch you guys later.